And Dubai and the Northern Emirates...
Well, we've known that for a long time, but it's just...
no, hang on, let me finish.
Okay, keep going.
We're a hub. So if you're a member of our group, what you want is to be able to get knowledge, value, have a fun and network here. But also, what about the GCC?
Yeah.
What about India? So we're the only business group here in Dubai and Northern Emirates that's signed up with all 4 Indian British business groups and all of the GCC business groups. So if you're a member of our group, you become a member of all of those business groups. And when you travel, when you have questions about the market, when you want to learn what's going on, you can link into all of those groups. So it's becoming a really good network through which people can do business.
Does it get unmanageable at some point, do you think?
Never gets unmanageable if you keep it simple, because
that's what you keep saying. Keep it simple.
Whether it's the courts, whether it's the tribunal, whatever we do, if you can allow people to understand a vision, which you can split down into as fewer words as possible, then you know if an idea fits it or doesn't. And provided that vision is shared, collectively shared, and you constantly test it, then you will never go far wrong. But if you try and overcomplicate something which is fundamentally simple, be it justice or be it business, be it networking, be it knowledge, whatever, if you overcomplicate it, it becomes disparate in people's minds and they float away. But if you keep people focused on very simple, fundamental ideas, then I think that's the future. That's the key to success. That's what I'd say. I don't know what you think.
I want to go back. I think I agree with you. I mean, it applies to education. It applies to politics. It applies to, as you say, the courts. If you can keep it simple, keep people focused, it can work. And I think that's where we get, I think exactly as you're saying, that's where we get off track, is we lose focus. And we lose focus because it gets complicated. You can't see the end.
Yeah.
I want to jump back to what you were talking about with social media and the fact that you guys have jumped in, head first. You've dived in head first into this pool with LinkedIn, with Facebook, with Twitter, and maybe even Foursquare, and trying it all out. In a sense, leading the way for your members to say, okay, we're doing it, we're trying it, we're going to talk about it, we'll help you with it. You've got to get onto this boat. I've met so many people who are still reluctant, but are slowly getting into it, but they are still very, very reluctant.
And we offer free training for all our members on LinkedIn particularly, because that's the business tool. All members on Twitter, it comes up on a live feed on the website, so all members' Twitters come round. I personally really believe that this is the future. The concept of people having the time and inclination to pick up large periodicals and wade through for matters of interest, it's good, but in reality what people are doing now, and I look at my children, and we have a 2-year-old who can operate an iPad. Now,
that's pretty incredible.
That is serious stuff, because
that's
this
major.
intuitive technology will drive them to say, I like this person, this person, and this person. I trust this person and this person, and that's how I'll get my news. Thank you very much. We've got to be a part of that, and we've got to be ahead of the curve on it, because what are we if not a conduit for knowledge? And if we can show that it can work as a not-for-profit organisation with a team of 7 people operating from the British Embassy grounds, if we can show that it can work, then an organisation of the same or greater size can easily do it.
7 people. That's it.
That's it. And when I joined, we had 2.
That's phenomenal. When you look at the training that's going on, when you look at, as you said, you've got a growing membership, when you look at the events that also happen, and obviously you build on the skills of different members to make these things happen. It becomes, in a sense, a family. But that's 7 people to do what you're doing.
And we do 84 events a year, including the largest regional corporate golf day in the GCC. That's the British Business Group one coming up. If anyone wants to play.
When is that coming up?
Oh, I don't know. March time.
Okay.
I'm not a golfer.
It's 2 of us. I know. I keep thinking, great place to have a picnic.
4 kids, 17 jobs. I don't know how people play golf. But so that's coming up. We put on huge events, and we put on these very focused events like you talking about, where we have 20 industry-specific groups, and their role is to come together and debate industry-specific issues, sometimes in private, sometimes in public.
Well, and I was looking at just going through the list. You've got the banking, you've got the CEO form, construction, education, facilities management. As I was going through some, I was saying, okay, legal, it seems obvious. Travel, tourism, leisure, communications, young professionals club. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. And then there's golf at the very bottom. I'm just going through the list, going, this is. And now that you say, I thought, okay, there's a team of 30 working on this, or somehow it's linked into some of the. 7 people making this all happen.
It's fabulous. The Office team is the most remarkable team you'll ever come across. They achieve all of this and more because they are focused and because they know what members want. If you know that an event is a great success, you take great pride in it, then you learn how to do it again. If you're not happy in your job, then you could have 200 people all unhappy and they wouldn't achieve half of what this team achieves. Combine that with 12 people on the committee who were there as sort of mentors and guides with a huge amount of market knowledge, who are all doing it for free, and they're all doing it as volunteers to give something back to the community. Put all of that together into the mix and put around it 3 core strategic pillars, and you end up with what can I say? The world's best business group. Have I said that before?
yeah, only once, I think.
And it's in Dubai. Isn't that brilliant?
When you tell people this, that you guys have gotten the gold seal, you're the best, are they in shock? Are they surprised?
I don't think so.
I mean, not people within the group, but when people who maybe aren't so versed on the British Business Group, when those other folks, when they hear this, do they kind of go, oh, interesting?
Well, all I can say, I don't know the answer to that. What I can say is when we had Peter Mandelson out in the last government, we've had a lot of ministers out recently, and we've had the Lord Mayor of the City of London. And when I tell them, their eyebrows do go up. But when they give their speech, they're very proud of the fact that the relationship between the UAE and the UK is personified by the strength of the development of this group, which has been going for such a long time and has continued to succeed.
I want to back up a little bit, and I want to talk about teams. And from your perspective, Mark, what makes that a team really work?
Dubai Eye 103.8 News, Talk, Sport.
All right, maybe it's not about working as teams. Maybe it's about focus. I always say some of the best parts of this program happen off air.
Don't put the adverts on there.
I know. Exactly. We should just keep the mic running. Keep the mic going and put it on. But that pays the bills, and we're very happy to have advertisers.
You have to say that, don't you?
No, but I am happy to have these advertisers because they keep us on the air, and they allow me to have these kind of conversations. That in all honesty, if we didn't put the ads on, I could be sitting and listening to some form of public broadcasting somewhere, and nowhere do we get to have these conversations for an hour. I mean, I want to go back to what you were just talking about, though. And off air, we were talking about focus, and I want to talk a little bit about teams and how you get it together. And really what I want to figure out is how you do your time management to be doing what you do in the courts and with the DIFC, and how you manage to be the chairman, and you've got your family, and you've got all sorts of other things that you're doing. I'm just thinking there's a book here on time management skills from Mark Beer. There's got to be, because how do you make that work? But I want to find out about that. But I also want to lead into this whole issue you were talking about. We were talking a little bit about politics off air. We're talking about school, and you kept coming back to the same thing. Keep looking forward. Don't look back. Focus on looking forward, and how that just guides everything. And how do you take the people who are new to the BBG or new to what you're doing with the tribunal and the courts over at DIFC? How do you keep people focused on doing that when it's so ingrained in us to be looking back and saying, well, I could have done or I should have done it? How do you do that? How do you exert that kind of leadership?
Well, a very wise Emirati said to me not so long ago, he, as part of everything that was going on here, he said, Mark, God gave us eyes in the front of our head to look forward. And I thought that is a very profound thing. There is no point looking over your shoulder, because we instinctively will go in the direction that we look. That's the way that we've been trained since we were apes. We go where we look. And if we keep looking backwards, we will go backwards. So let's put behind us things that didn't go as well as we wanted, and let's look forward to how can we make things better in the future. And is
it all about licking your wounds and moving on? Is it essentially saying, okay, what have I learned, and now don't make that mistake again?
Very much so, isn't it? I mean, isn't that the direction to go? That if you've got a vision, if you clearly know where you want to be, yes, there are going to be bumps in the road, and yes, there are going to be hurdles, and yes, there'll be rocks in the road that you have to find a way around. But if you can see where you're going, then keep going there. Because if you have the heartfelt conviction it's the right place to be, and you're getting positive reinforcement from the people around you that you love and that you trust that it's the right place to be, don't stop. Don't stop for a cup of tea by the side of the road. Don't go back to the house to check if you turn the gas off. Just keep going. Because if it's the right place to be for you and it's the right thing to be doing, then likelihood is you will get enormous satisfaction, and all those around you will get enormous satisfaction from doing it. And that's what a leader does. A leader doesn't have to bemoan what went wrong, because people know it, because they're passionate, because that's why they work there. They know if they've made a mistake. Of course they do. You don't need to beat them around the head and tell them. What you do need to say is, does it fit in with where we're going? Is what happened? Could we do it better next time? How could we do it? Because how do we get to where we all agree we want to go? Now, the BBG is slightly more tricky because we have three elements to it. But if you look at something like the court system or the tribunal, it's dead easy, because everyone believes in one thing, and it's justice. So anything that happens, you say, how does this fit in with our vision of justice? What does justice mean to you?
Well, I mean, how about justice? If you take the Webster Dictionary definition, it's pretty clear. But there are shades of justice, aren't there? People coming from different, perspectives of looking at things, don't we? Especially when we start talking finances, there's all sorts of problems that are inherent in that, aren't there, that make this work? No.
Personally, I don't agree. I think justice is a very high ideal, and it's to do with fairness, and it's to do with right, and it's to do with, from a court point of view, running a court, it's to do with efficiency, with transparency and accessibility. Those are the three cores of justice. If you have a problem, sounds like the A-team, doesn't it? If you have a problem and no one else can solve it, right, you want your judicial process to be efficient, i.e. justice delayed is justice denied. You don't want it to take forever. It must be transparent. There must be nothing going on behind the scenes, everything out in the open, and it must be accessible. You can't be frightened of it. You can't be forced out of it by the fear of excessive fees. If you can run a justice system on those three parameters, you're 90% of the way there. You then have the overlay of a judicial, making sure you've got judges who are absolutely impartial and independent, and their only goal is to listen to both sides or all sides and give a decision which people may or may not like, but they know that it's a fair decision.
And that's the key, is that you don't have to like the decision, but to be able to understand how the decision was arrived at.
We have, as a court, it's very difficult for a court to get more than 50% user satisfaction. You know why? Honestly, the world over, it's very difficult. We run now at 86%.
Really?
86% of people are very satisfied or extremely satisfied with the DIFC courts.
And half of those people have to be coming out on the other side.
That's right. So they're saying, whilst we lost, the way that you got there, we think we're very satisfied or extremely satisfied about. Now, isn't that brilliant for this region?
That's people aren't talking about that.
Yeah.
Why aren't we hearing about it? Well, we're hearing about it now.
Yes.
But why isn't this being, carried up the flagpole and saying, hey, look, this is here. This is working right here in Dubai, DIFC. This is what's happening in our judicial system. This is what the results are. Show us another example, another case study in the world where this is, where we're up there like that.